Hello, Rabbi Rubinstein here, standing in for Rabbi Chapnik for the JLE in Los Angeles. A 6 minute before Torah. This week's Parsha, as we're getting towards the end of the Torah, is the Parsha called Ekev. And this is where it says at the beginning, Ekev tishmun el hamishpotim ha'elim. And it will be since or because you listened to my statutes, and you guarded them and you did them. It's a breeze, and God's going to keep his side of the bargain, and he's going to give you all sorts of nice rewards, and you'll be blessed. That's the basic idea. The strange thing is the use of this word Ekev, because Ekev, which we translate as because or since, really, you might recognize this word because it's the root of the word Yaakov. And of course, remember, Yaakov held on to his brother's heel when his brother was born, Esau's heel. And that's what the word means, heel, which leads Rashi, the classic commentator, to say the following thing. Why does it say the word Ekev? Because you listen to my statutes. So Rashi says, it's the mitzvahs and the parts of the Torah that people crush with their heel. Now, anything you crush with your heel is small. It's not a brick. It's a small thing. The point is that the bits of the Torah which seem to be small and seem to us, or seem to me or you as being insignificant, very often are not insignificant at all. But just because we don't see it as being important, we don't take it as important, and we don't put into it the respect that it requires and desires. The Alshach HaKodesh, my favorite commentator on the Torah, he says it's more than that. It says, again, from the beginning, why are you going to get all the rewards that are promised in the end of the Pasuk and the next Pasuk? Because you're a listener. Because you're a listener. Lots of people hear things, but who's actually listening? The fact that the Jewish people is willing to listen, that makes all the difference in the world. And those Jews in the Jewish people who are willing to listen makes all the difference in the world. I've got a line I very often use in my shirim, which goes like this. I can present evidence to open minds. I cannot present evidence to open minds. And people are usually very perplexed at that statement. So I repeat it. I can present evidence to open minds. I cannot present evidence to open minds. And then I explain what I mean by simply saying it depends whether I'm using the word open as an adjective or as a verb. I can present evidence to open minds. If the mind is open, the person I'm engaging with has got an open mind, I've got all the evidence in the world. I can't present evidence to open, verb, to open a mind. If somebody doesn't want to listen, they won't. So the Alshach says that all the blessings come, and the promise of the blessings in this parsha come because you're the sort of person who listens. Doesn't just hear, you're listening. You have an open mind. I remember many years ago when I used to live in Manchester in England, I used to travel on a Wednesday night to give a shiur to my university students because I was the official campus rabbi for all the universities in the northwest of England. And at the end of a particular shiur, the subject of what we say at the end of benching, a posuk from Tehillim, Nar ha'isi v'gam zakanti v'lo ra'isi tzadik nezov v'zar mavakesh lachem. King David writes, the author of Tehillim, I was young, as a nar ha'isi, I was young, v'gam zakanti, now I've got old, v'lo ra'isi tzadik nezov, and I've never seen a tzaddik forsaken and his children begging for bread. And one of my students got very angry. He said, I don't say that when I bench. So apparently he mentions, but he misses this bit out. Didn't we see in the Second World War and the Holocaust precisely that? Tzaddikim, saintly Jews, men and women, forsaken, and their children begging for bread in the ghettos, etc. And I said, well, it's a very, very excellent question. I don't know. Let me do some research, and I'll see if I've got an answer for you. So I went away and I looked in the Alshach, and he says something very, very interesting. Of course, that verse, that bit of Tehillim is in the benching is simply lifted from Tehillim, from Psalms. And King David, in context, if we now we've lifted it from Psalms, put it back in Psalms. The verse before says the following interesting thing. It says that the way of a tzaddik, of a righteous man or a woman, that they lend people money, and if the person can't repay the loan, they turn the loan into a gift. But it's the way of a brosha, of a bad person, not even to lend money in the first place. And then our verse appears straight after that. I was young, says King David, and I became old, and I've never seen a tzaddik forsaken and his children begging for bread. In other words, what he's saying is, I've never seen anybody become poor and forsaken as a consequence, as a result of lending somebody money and they couldn't pay it back, turning the loan into a gift. Totally different understanding, not controversial at all. King David was perfectly aware in his lifetime of human suffering. He went through quite a lot of it himself. After all, you've got a son who tries to kill you, then that's suffering enough. He's aware of that. That's not the point he's saying. The point he's saying is, you won't lose by doing that mitzvah. But this young man didn't see it. He didn't see it, and therefore he rejected it. I don't say that. All you have to do is to see things, or be willing to wait until you can see things. And that's when all the blessings in the world comes to you. I wish you all a very, very good Shabbos.